Thank you all. And now I would like to take a moment to invite Celeste Connors from Hawaii Green Growth. It's my honor to introduce Celeste. She has 20 years of experience working at the intersection of economic, environment, energy, and international development policy. Before joining Hawaii Green Growth, she was the CEO and co-founder of CDOT's Development LLC, which works to build resilient infrastructure systems and services in vulnerable communities. Celeste previously served as the Director for Environment and Climate Change at the National Security Council and National Economic Council in the White House, where she helped shape the administration's climate and energy policies, including the Sustainable Development Goals. Prior to joining the White House, Celeste served as a diplomat in Saudi Arabia, Greece, and Germany. Celeste is a senior adjunct fellow at the East-West Center at the Johns Hopkins University School of Advanced International Studies in Energy Resources and Environment program. Celeste also serves on numerous boards. Welcome, Celeste.
Aloha from Hawaii, and such a pleasure to be with all of you today. And really, congratulations on all of the work, incredible research, and momentum behind the Sustainable Development Goals and the 2030 Agenda. And I recognize a lot of former colleagues and friends in the panel discussion today, and we look forward to having the opportunity to share what Hawaii is doing. And I know that there's such a full agenda, so we'll also try to move through these slides. But I want to say up front, we look forward to working with all of you going forward on this as we share our particular journey. And it is so critical that we are looking at issues of social justice and equity, which is at the core of what we are doing in Hawaii. So with that, I also want to acknowledge some colleagues we have on the call today, including a colleague from the University of Hawaii, McKenna Kaufman, who was part of this process from the beginning. But I'll stop there and actually share a brief video about the process we undertook. And actually this year, December 2020, we released our first voluntary local review. It's the first statewide voluntary local review in the United States, but it's the sum of the parts of our 4 county mayors, private sector, civil society, and academic partners, really learning from colleagues in the past from New York and LA and Helsinki and others that have come before us. So with that, why don't I stop and share this video and then some slides. So again, my name is Celeste Connors. I'm the Executive Director of Hawaii Green Growth. To share a little bit about what Hawaii Green Growth is, we are a public-private partnership composed of over 150 individuals, institutions across Hawaii, and all focused on stewarding Hawaii's natural resources. This is just a snapshot of our membership. It's a political commitment. It's a high-level political commitment that includes our 4 mayors, our governor, our Office of Hawaiian Affairs. And the partnership itself has become so important because, as we know, sustainability and resilience is a long-term value proposition inherently out of sync with short-term political cycles. And so we as a partnership have been able to transition our sustainability commitment launched in 2014 across 2 governors and 6 mayors, and that each of these elected officials can see their priorities in these goals. So our genealogy, we were actually launched on the margins of the Asia Pacific Economic Cooperation meeting that took place in Honolulu in 2011. And you might recall at that time we were emerging from another financial crisis, and the leaders of the OECD and then adopted by APEC leaders at the summit committed to a green growth recovery. Green growth economic recovery. And folks in Hawaii, committed individuals got together inspired by this and said, Hawaii can get on a green growth pathway. So inherently for over a decade, we've been working on an economic recovery strategy that is focused on a greener future, more resilient and more equitable. And as part of that, actually in 2014, inspired by other island economies with the Micronesia Challenge and the Caribbean Challenge, we launched the Aloha Plus Challenge. The Aloha Plus Challenge is Hawaii's statewide commitment to sustainability. It includes 6 statewide sustainability goals to be achieved by the year 2030. And I would like to note, critically important, it was launched a year prior to the SDGs being agreed at the United Nations. It was mentioned in my bio that I did have the opportunity to work with many of you actually in the formative years from 2008 to 2012 up to the Rio Plus 20 conference on the SDGs. I was actually even more impressed to know that a local community group, island group, inspired by Indigenous knowledge and wisdom and over 1,000 years of Indigenous knowledge had come together to define what Hawaii's locally and culturally appropriate metrics and indicators should actually be. And so what this is actually is we determined these high-level goals. We set about to measure what matters. In order to do that, we needed to go into our community and find out what matters to our community. So we can just move along, I think, with the slides, Laura, and I'll riff off that in the interest of time. So this is just a snapshot of our partners. We convene and we connect. We identify shared priorities. We track this on a dashboard. We'll show that in just a minute. And all of this is to coordinate action and widespread behavior change. And so it's an iterative process. We convene about 50 meetings a year. This is a snapshot of our process that actually got us to the point of actually launching our 2020 benchmark report, also known as our voluntary local review. We convened in every county, and these meetings included the executives of our publicly traded companies, as well as our waste managers from the counties and those that were working actually in the lo'i or in some of the Indigenous and Aina-based work that our community does. In the next slide, you can actually see, as I mentioned, this is iterative. We convene 6 working groups throughout the year quarterly, policy and legislation, a next-gen working group, our business forum. We convene a group of over 26 of our CEOs, our publicly traded companies that have committed to Hawaii's goals, rolling up to the SDGs, and also are now part of the Global Compact. Right now, they're working on looking at how they can report on their ESG and their SDG commitment through the Aloha Plus Challenge. And all of this is being tracked on the dashboard. The dashboard is an online open data platform that is on the state.gov website, and it's tracking this data 24/7 to provide transparency and accountability and to educate and help drive action. This was launched 6 years ago, and we've recently partnered with Esri, and we're delighted that we have new ways of expressing the data through on the dashboard. What is fascinating is we have now actually further localized the dashboard to the county level, because we often get the question, what can we do? What can I do? And as an individual now, whether you're in Kauai or Maui or Oahu, you can sign on to the local dashboard, make a commitment to increase your water efficiency, reduce your energy use, buy local, have different transportation options, track that, and that's rolled up to the statewide dashboard. And ultimately, our community can see how that connects to the SDGs. Here you also see our businesses wanting to be tracked on the dashboard, their commitment, as well as the government data that we have on there. And let's go to the next slide. This is really important that we had this dashboard in place during COVID. Our tourism industry took a hit. We have a lot of challenges currently with equity. Now we're focusing on digital equity. We're actually being able to spotlight different gaps where we need to invest in different areas in our community where we're actually doing well and where we actually need to improve. So we're currently tracking over 200 community-based indicators and metrics. And what I find remarkable about this process, it's really short-term consensus building towards long-term goals, and be able to do that together. And if you go to the next slide here, it's a snapshot of our voluntary local review. I mentioned earlier that we've really learned from experiences of our colleagues that are, many of whom are on this panel today. And I've heard mention of, our US voluntary national review. So I think that process can be informed by a lot of the experiences that different groups have had coming together. I think what is critically important with Hawaii's process, as I mentioned earlier, is that it's based on our core island values and host culture values of malama, to steward, and kuleana, responsibility, and aloha and ohana, and family. And it's about creating shared value of these in-between spaces. And this is built, it's the bedrock of our process. So we're delighted now to be working as a recognized Local 2030 hub, and working with other island economies, including Guam, that recently launched the Guam Green Growth, as well as other communities that are taking similar efforts. So with that, I think that's the end of our presentation. As I tried to get through that information as quickly as possible, I do encourage all of you to check out the dashboard, and we look forward to working with all of you this year as we try to accelerate action against the Decade of Action. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Celeste, and what phenomenal work you're doing. And thank you. We really appreciate you coming in today to share it with all of us.